son of a bitch. There I am. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. The computer guy's been slacking off. I hope you're doing great. It's been a wonderful week for me so far. Pretty good. Tonight is the last night of our performance of Julius Caesar at the New Mexico Shakespeare Festival. If you're in town, come give us a watch. We're going to talk about some interesting things that are going on. The show title, obviously, about God and being a liar and all that other business. We've talked about that on the show before. But then other stuff we're going to talk about. I got a new newsletter going to be coming out soon. A couple of them, actually. And we'll talk about that, too. Let's see, what should I do to you guys this morning? I'm a little behind because I just got a little crazy this morning. So I'm going to do, let's do postmortem, a little long one this morning first. Do you have a loved one who's on their deathbed, but they've yet to give themselves up to the Lord?
Are you sure you don't want to come to Jesus?
No.
This is your final chance.
No. Worried they're headed to the fiery pits of hell.
Your very last chance.
No, I've been wicked and sinful. I deserve to burn in the hot place.
As you wish. Farewell, my heathen husband.
Farewell, my... Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of post-mortem baptismal kits. No more worries about being miserable alone forever. Be a good Christian and share that eternal pain and suffering with the ones you love. I'm in hell. Not as hot as I thought it'd be. Kind of feels like Houston, minus the humidity. Hello. My favorite drink crafted to perfection. Ooh, and some dank ass weed.
I can't bear to be down on my face chanting, holy, holy, holy is the Lord, every day, all day, for all eternity, by myself.
Wow, is that George Carlin? And Alan Turing, look at that. Carl say, oh, I am so honored. You've been my hero since I was a kid. Neil deGrasse Tyson, what are you doing here? Oh, I get it. I get it. Schrodinger's heathen. Very cute, you. Very cute. That's fantastic. Oh, what is that? What is... It's holy water. Oh, it burns. No, this isn't where I want to be. Pabst Blue Ribbon and a Marlboro? No! Father Flanagan's post-mortem baptismal kit. Dead kid tested, Mother Teresa approved. Is that the Pope and John Paul? Jim Jones and Jimmy Swaggart, huh? I can see that coming. Neil deGrasse, what are you doing? Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
Thanks, Father Flanagan.
Damn them to an eternity in heaven for only $59.99. They wouldn't appreciate it, but you'll feel better, and that's the point, isn't it? Get yours now. Your heathen loved one's time is running out. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. This is some bullshit. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Hello and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't ever seen that before, if you're new to the show, that's one of my favorites. Lots of people enjoy that one. Good morning, Orange Juicy wants to know, what is this dog? This is the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It's really just some guy who rants and goes on about Christians mostly and the crap they do. And I try to point out to them how kind of weird and creepy and crazy and just ridiculous their religious beliefs are and why they should stop forcing them on other people. That's kind of what it is, really. Every now and then I play a funny commercial. I might say something funny. Maybe. Maybe not. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Miss Non Sequitur is here. It's the amazing Super, she says. Indeed, it is. Good morning. Thank you for joining us, Aaron. Kelly Shearer is here. Good morning, Kelly. I'm going to leave you pinned up because I want to come back to you in just a second. Good morning, Kelly. Ricky Hitz. Good morning. Flockmeister is here. The Flocky is here. Remissus This is some bullshit. Yeah. Good morning, Remisses. Thank you for joining us. And Larry the Tapeworm. We've got other people. The Beard of Empathy was kicking in the door early this morning. Chrissy CNG, good morning, everyone. Thank you all. And of course, Kiff Web. Good morning, Kiff. I hope you guys are having a great week. So I wanted to point out to leave it up here, Miss Kelly's post, because I actually have a Substack. I do have a Substack, and I abuse it. I have a newsletter. I don't use it. I don't do it. I don't do any of that business. Well, I've been threatening to do something about it. Like the newsletter is over there, and every time I walk in the room, it's like, oh no, here he comes, because I threatened to do something with it, but I never do anything with it. So I'm actually going to do something with it. I want to thank Miss Kelly for the motivation. I mean, weeks ago, she went to my Substack and she said if I ever monetized it, she would commit to like $120 a year, some business like that. Thank you very much for that. But I'm not monetized over there. I just haven't ever. Well, that kind of got me thinking. Well, not only could I help that, but I could also get out the millstone, and I could get out the Theocracy Watch, and I could do other stuff too. So it's got me moving. Thank you, Miss Kelly. I haven't monetized it yet. I'll get there soon, maybe. It depends on how we go. But right now, I want to tell you about the things I've got going on. There are 2 newsletters that are going to come out once a week. You can sign up for one or both. Now, the one is going to be the Theocracy Watch, and that's just going to be pretty much, it's going to keep an eye on some news feeds of other atheist people who watch things. And it's going to let us know when Christians are doing things like trying to take over school boards or trying to push their religion through the legislation or stuff like that. Now, there will be a section in the Theocracy Watch newsletter called The Millstone, and it'll kind of give you a brief rundown about the millstone, because that's just part of it. But the Theocracy Watch will be about, the crimes of the clergy, the just kind of everything, how they're trying to force their stuff on us, whether it's the Bibles in schools or any of that business. That's what the overall Theocracy Watch is. Now, the Millstone is going to be a newsletter, and it's pretty much going to center almost exclusively around sexual impropriety of the church, whether it's being attacking children or adults. It doesn't matter, really. It's just, it's kind of a thing. And the reason why is because if you recognize the term the millstone, there is a place in the Bible where Jesus is sitting there, he's talking to his disciples. And there's this kid there, and he gets this kid and he puts this kid on his lap and he says, my disciples, you guys are like this child. Okay. And then he goes on from there. Forget the child at that point. No more child. Don't even worry about the kid anymore. He said, you're like my child. If anyone causes my children to stumble, they should have a millstone thrown around there and put around their neck and thrown into the sea. Now, he wasn't talking about the child in his lap. He was talking about his followers, his disciples, right? So the millstone, some Christians out there, they think, well, he was talking about little kids. He's like, if anybody hurts the little kids, that's not what he was saying. He was using a little kid, using as a prop, which kind of doesn't make it any better, does it? He was using a little kid. That way he could give an idea of the relationship between father and children. You are my children. If anybody hurts you, right? So, that's kind of the purpose of it, really. The millstone is really about, a lot of people think that it's about, that whole phrase is about protecting children. It's actually about protecting his disciples. So if you're a child out there who is assaulted by a priest and you report him and you bring down that priest, then you have attacked and, what is the term? Something like caused one of the members of his church, his flock, to fall or to stumble. You are deserving of a millstone. If you were a 12 or 13-year-old boy or girl and that priest just couldn't resist you, it's your fault because you caused the priest, to stumble. You caused them to stumble. Therefore, you are deserving of the millstone. If you're somebody out there who is actively working to expose and destroy this hateful religion, then my whole goal is to bring down those who are, right? I go after those. Therefore, I am deserving of the millstone. Just for that. You know what I mean? That's the purpose of the millstone. It's not, Christians will be misled thinking it's about one thing. Hopefully they will learn that it's not. Anyway, let's see what's going on here. Diddy did what Diddy did do, but Diddy knows what Diddy did because Diddy did do what Diddy did. Thank you this morning, Sagux. I hope I said your name right. That's my bot. Don't worry about my bot. Just don't worry about my bot. Ignore it. I mean, it essentially, yes, it needs help, and I will work on it. It has no teeth. It'll say it's going to ban you, and then it's you are banned, and then you just keep right on posting. But kind of its purpose at the moment, because I haven't finished getting it together, is whenever somebody is kind of violating, like they really are spamming or they really are doing something, I can kind of see that it's going after them. So I appreciate your patience while I work that out. Ms. Non Sequitur, let's see here. Oh yeah. That's kind of the thing. I see what Miss Non Sequitur says. So here we are. I want to catch up real quick with our chat because I was ranting for a moment. Okay, I did the Diddy good. I think I did the Diddy pretty good. This is all right. Cool. I didn't miss much, and you guys just listen there and ranting. You patient, wonderful people. Viverman is here. Good day, Viverman. Ricardo O'Reilly. Richard O'Reilly. Sorry. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, all you wonderful people. So, again, those are the things that I've got going on. I want to mention to everybody, Bailey is doing great. She's doing wonderful. Apparently, they put her on some IV fluids, gave her some antibiotics. We've changed her diet to where she eats like chicken and rice. These dogs are fed twice a day, vegetables and chicken by a beautiful woman. I mean, that's anyway. So Bailey's doing okay. Back here, in fact, sleeping. Snooze late, and she's doing fine. And I tell you, for those who don't know, our puppy dog Bailey, she's also the script writer for the show. Don't let your dogs just lay around like dogs do. No, put them to work. Put them to work. So Bailey's our script writer. But she got sick. She wasn't eating. She stopped eating, and then she started pooing blood. Like not poo with blood in it. Just there's blood there, and that was worrisome. But we blessed her, prayed over, Jedi mind trick. We burned some incense. Let's see, what else did we do? I think we sacrificed something. Was it like a thumbnail, or I don't know? We sacrificed something, and then we took her to the vet. Not in that order, though, necessarily. No, we took her to the vet. Man, I tell you, I was pretty worried. I was pretty worried for my puppy dog. I love all my dogs. My dogs are wonderful. Let's see. I'm just checking out specks of blood. Yeah, it was really, she has had pancreatitis in the past. Specks of blood isn't, that's one thing. Especially whenever they like chew things, eat things and swallow things, it can kind of be bad, but not too bad. Anyway, yeah, but this was different. This was enough to be worrisome. Yeah. My wife's a nurse practitioner, so a wound care specialist, advanced wound care specialist. So it's kind of, we worry. We know to worry. She's doing better. Matter of fact, for those of you who've never, come here, Bob. Oh my goodness, you're just a lazy dog. Aren't you supposed to be writing a script somewhere? This is our Bailey bear, and she looks pretty rough. She's going to get a bath and a haircut today. She wishes look at that Bailey bear. Oh my goodness, Bailey. There's my Bailey. Where Bailey? Oh my goodness, I love my puppy dogs. You're so wonderful. You are. I know. Okay. Good girl. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that's Bailey. Bailey bear. Bailey bear. I'll play the pup commercial for those of you who have not seen it. That's one of John Hudson's favorite. John Hudson's favorite commercials. He's got the hots for Bailey. We've kind of had to put protections in place. I think, restraining order, that sort of thing. John, if you're listening while you work, he's off working. So good morning, everyone. One of the things, whenever y'all are ready, we can get to moving on about these conversations. I built a website recently in most an unfortunate manner. Very lazy. I'm a very lazy person. Can't help that. I'm going to go start reworking it, but the website is called destroyingchristianity.com. So when you go to Destroying Christianity, there are 8 different sections. The one we covered yesterday was the face of God, the hideous face of God, because Christians, many Christians, and if you're here and you're new and you're like, well, why is he just talking about Christians? Well, Christians are like the ones that are in our business right now. Muslims are over there. Jews are way over there. Christians are right here in our business, forcing their shit on our kids in schools and our women in the hospital, that sort of things. Moving on. So, oh shit. Yesterday was talking about the face of God. Many modern Christians have this notion, I mean, I did. If you're an ex-Christian, you probably did too, of some sort of loving father figure as the God creature. However, whenever you actually go and look through the text as to what the God creature is, you don't ever actually see, they don't talk about him like that. He's hideous, he's so scary that when you look upon him, you'll die. Sometimes they do describe him or those around him as like horrific monster kind of creatures. They're never described in a pleasant way, the God creature or those around him. I don't think, I mean, those people who see them, of course, one thing I'll say, no one has seen the face of God. Then the other thing I'll say, Bob saw the face of God, but then Bob was struck dead, or, something, they've got, it's really just go look. It's not a pleasant experience. And if you go to, pardon me, destroyingchristianity.com, you'll see section 2, or actually section 1, is called, what's it called? Don't tell me I know this. I was paying attention. I wasn't paying attention. Section 1. Damn it, son of the beach. Oh, there it is. Excellent. Section 1 is sanitized. And the reason for the name is because, they took that monster that is the God creature and they turned it in this peaceful, loving father, dad, with like 6 wings and eyes on all over the world. That's an angel, I think. But anyway, that too is a horrific creature. Anyway, go here to the destroyingchristianity.com, click on the sanitized, and it's got 10 different sections where it talks about the horror forms it is, the things that God even says it is. Look at section 3 there. God in several places, many places, I don't even list them all here because I'm going to get back to it. This is I was just throwing that together to get it going. But there are many, many places in the Bible where God does something horrific. And then he says, I did that so you would know that I am the Lord. You don't see examples, I think, and I'm going to have to take that back. There probably almost certainly are some places in the Bible where God creature does something good and says, I did this because I am the Lord. So you would know that I am the Lord. But there are times where, like the Pharaoh, where he destroys renders the 10 plagues on Egypt. He says beforehand that he's going to harden the Pharaoh's heart so he can reveal to the people his true self. And his true self ends up being the plagues of Egypt, so that you would know that he is the Lord, including the death of the firstborn children of all the, that's infanticide. Well, it's not even infanticide because remember, it's first breach of the womb, so you didn't actually have to be a child, just the firstborn son to die. Bearded Vimp said I was going to ask to do a damn fools episode, but the crazy might be too much even for therapists. I remember you saying you were doing things. You said it. I am honored. I appreciate you. Thank you for whatever you've got going on. I have a hard enough time keeping my own wheels on my own train, if you know what I mean, but I appreciate you. I wish you the best in your show and whatever you've got going on. And also, I was mentioning that, oh man, Patriot of the West sent me a script in Discord. And I was like, man, I don't even do my own work. What I need, I got plenty of writers and I got plenty of people with ideas for comedy scripts for the dogs and for me and all that. What I need is production. I need someone with a camera and editing to come wrangle. That's not going to happen. I got to do all that myself. So I'm actually going to take some time and try to read some more scripts, including his, and see about cranking out some more stuff, getting us some more fun content, because I enjoy doing it once it's done. I just put my, and then I'm like, it's only been a couple of weeks since the last video I dropped. A couple of weeks, that's like a year and 2 months, dude, since the last time you dropped a video. So I got to get on it. I do. Let's see how patient Stanhope. Let me do a thing. I'll tell you what, is it almost thing? Let me go here and I'm going to go pitch my site for just a minute. And then when the thing goes down, whereas I want to turn off some things in that bot during our next commercial, just to keep it from, I'm kind of getting sick of it myself. All right, so that's the topic for today. Is actually yesterday I was talking about the sanitize is how they've whitewashed it. It's a bad expression, I think, but you know what I mean. This God creature, they've laundered it, if you will, from this horrific monster into this loving, kind Father, merciful and forgiving, who's going to burn you forever in a pit of fire because he hates everybody. Anyway, chapter 2, section 2, whatever, is called Deceived, and that's what we're talking about today. Right from the very beginning of the relationship between man and God, God lies to man. God is the liar in the Garden of Eden. And Christians don't know this. You don't know this, do you? If you're a Christian watching this, you're like, no. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about it on the show before. We'll obviously talk about it again. I'm going to actually create a graphic for it because I got stuff. I've got nerd power and stuff. I can do this now. I could even do it before. Anyway, I'm going to make graphics to show how this is the case. I mean, God says this, serpent says, that ain't true. They do what the serpent said, and it plays out to be correct. Even God confirms it at the end of the chapter. So right from the very beginning, God creature is lying to humanity. Right from the very beginning. Now I'm going to go back and reread some of the other chapters. There are times, and you can go look up, just if you're a person out there and you're going through the whole denial thing, go to your chat and just say, when did God lie or use liars? And there are times where God personally lied, examples I give. And then there's other times where God, I think he sent specifically a liar go into this. I'm going to send a liar into that group of people so he will draw them out or some business. I mean, God and lies are, And then when you talk about Jesus, well, wait a second, Jesus, that's a lot of lies right there. That's a lot of lies. The biggest one, of course, being, I'll be right back. I'm just going to the store for some cigarettes, and I'll be right back. Let me come here. This is just kind of boo. I'm going to do this. Evil one. Okay, those are mod chat monitor. All right, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn it off. Let's see how that goes for now, just because it's pissing me off. I'm ready to beat it like a dirty rug. Let's turn that off and it disabled. So hopefully our little mod thing was temporary off. I can still do things. I'll keep an eye on it, but it's just annoying me to a point that it's beyond. I'm just tired of it. Tony is here with both his IQ points this morning. They might, Randy, yes. And look at me just stabbing I'm an ass right out the door. Good morning, Tony. Thank you for haunting my chat. I should start with that. Just be appreciative you're here, then attack your lack of intelligence later when you say things that demonstrate your lack of intelligence. I mean, why rush it? Why be preemptive? Pixel says, you should show the VHS video from Kentucky. It's insane. I'm shocked it's not a bigger story. They're teaching kids that lynching is good. They are bringing back stoning. Kentucky. Oh, you must be talking about some school. Are you talking about a school thing in Kentucky? Vixel? Hey, Vixel, if you don't mind, if you can, would you email me something on that? Actually, just me. I'm lazy. Let me make a note. I was going to send, I'll make a note and I'll look it up. Because I want to look, that sounds something interesting. I would very much like to look that up. You say Kentucky? Kentucky stoning. Well, again, it really just depends on the situation. I mean, Christians don't oppress good, holy people. They don't oppress people. They don't oppress people who are rightly and good. And then you're like, well, what about all the trans people who got kicked out of the military because Christians took over our government? Well, they're trans people. They're an offense to God. So it's actually good that they got kicked out. See where our morals start differing? Ours are more about like, let everybody live. Let you live. If you ain't hurting nobody, do whatever you want to do. I thought that was how Christians were supposed to be. Anyway, let's see. Catholic Kentucky stoning. And that's and something else. Let me read this up. Sure. Thank you for that. And then I'll try to catch up on our chat so we can see what's going on here. You guys are fantastic. Yeah, chat's going to be a bitch. Anyway, I've got the notes, and I will look it up. And if you want to, Vixel, you can feel free to email me, chris@thedamnshow.com, and that'll help you. Let's see, we've got Shawnee Gothic. Shawnee? Is that Shawnee Gothic TV? The earliest Christians were the Ebionites, and they never believed that Jesus was God. You know, you can actually look through like the books of the New Testament, and you'll see how Jesus' divinity and relationship with the God creature changed over time. Mark starts out, Jesus doesn't talk about Jesus and God at all. And then Jesus comes out up baptized from John. Did I say John? It's the book of Mark. Jesus is baptized by John, and when he comes up from the water, that's when the heavens open up and says, God says, you are my son, I am pleased with you. And then he starts doing whatever he's doing. But before that, he doesn't say anything about Jesus and God, none of that. And the message gets further away. The further in time the Gospels get from when Jesus actually happened. So Jesus happened here. They're like, in the first Gospel, it's like, you know what, dude, he's going to be right back. And then like the second Gospel, like, you know, he's going to be back, but he's kind of distracted. And the third one was like, man, I don't know. He's going to be back someday. And then they're like, they just kept pushing back when he's going to return, or the you know what I mean, the embrace of his what you consider end game, how his end game was going to play out. Each one had it changed because they're like, dude, they were saying that 30 years ago he's going to be right back. I'm like, oh well, yeah, but now it's 50 years later, and well, you know, something has come up. And they're like 90 years later, like, dude, well, I mean, where's he at? Well, you know, I know that he said he was coming right back, and these guys here a few years ago said that, you know, he was delayed, but we now believe that the pack of cigarettes is all the way in Philadelphia, and it's just going to take him a really long time, and he'll be back someday. Whatever you do, don't go to Philadelphia, apparently, for cigarettes. You never come back. Let's see, Drew. I've read and studied the Bible for years, and he is lying. Interesting. Okay, cool. Dig it. Stick around. Just point out which part I'm lying about. Cool. Good morning, Silverfed. How are you doing? Let's see. So many people are going to say, well, he didn't come back. He ain't coming back, and then he'll be back. Well, you know, it's funny, just for an exercise, Tony, would you maybe ask chat how many generations of humans have lived and died since Jesus and have been waiting essentially for Jesus to come back? So I asked for that number, how many generations so that'll give you like 80 generations maybe or more. I'm not really sure, but it's a lot. It's a lot of generations of people. Then, if you can, I've never done this, just go ask it if you can. Just kind of give me a raw ballpark figure. Estimate how many Christians have lived and died since Jesus said he was going to come back. And if it can give you that number, because it's going to be a stupid large number, you have to go through that and go, is he really coming back? 2,000 years, 88 generations of people, 17 billion Christians total overall since he last died. You know, probably more, really. I don't know how many there are, but I mean, I don't know, but you know what I mean? It's going to be a stupid large number. So how many Christians are on the planet right now? 2.3 billion, I mean. So the notion that there would be 17 billion of them total over the past 2,000 years, I don't think that's an unreasonable number, but we're just spitballing maths here, right? So I'm sure, yeah, someday he'll be back. You just keep right on. Look up Kentucky VHS video. Got it. Look up VHS Kentucky video. And it's really cute, the ones that are like, oh, he'll be back in my lifetime. Oh, really? That's how special you are. It's funny. They're like, you guys think you're so above God that you don't need God. You're so, what is it? Narcissistic. You're so arrogant that you're so self-centered that you think you're better than. No, I just don't believe there's a God because you didn't convince me that your God created was real. However, you, on the other hand, believe there's a God creature. that created the entire universe, 2 trillion, 3 trillion galaxies with hundreds, just an uncountable number of things, and all the people and all that bullshit, and it knows your name. It loves you. It has some interest in you. All the Christians that have come and gone, who've died horrible deaths in the name of God, all of them, but he's going to protect you from COVID. Yeah, I said so many dead Christians. Interesting stuff, really. What created the universe? I don't know. You don't either, though. What created your God? You know, what created your God? Your God can come into existence fully formed or always have existed, right? Are you going to throw out the word, oh, God was never created, he's always been here, and then you're going to try to lean on the word created. And then I'll go, okay, the universe has always been here too. The Big Bang is just a cycle of Big Bangs. It's been going on for years. And Big Bang, boom, everything spreads out, and then the unit, it all comes back together again with gravity, and then boom, it all, whatever. I don't care. It's there forever. I can't prove it. You can't prove anything about God. I can show you scientifically, like things like the cosmic microwave background radiation, that sort of thing, that our science is pretty spot on about what's happened since then. Now, we have a friend here in the chat, Kelly Laughlin, who has seen some things. There are things in quantum mechanics where they are postulating, maybe hypothesizing, possibly even theorizing, that a particle of a certain kind can, in fact, have effect, then cause. And technically, the universe could have kicked off itself. That's what that's saying. But yeah, I really don't know. Cause and effect is eternal. I don't really know. What I do know is there's no proof whatsoever that the God creature that you worship did any of that. It's so powerless. It's so incredibly powerless here just on Earth. It's so ridiculously powerless. It's pathetic. There's a word called blasphemy used to protect your God's feelings, because your God, despite being almighty, has these paper-like feelings where this chattering monkey's words can hurt it. And this whole thing, again, I just got to go back to it. And one of my favorite things is this. You probably, there's this new theory that we may actually be, our entire universe may be inside of a black hole, inside another universe. And you know how time is funny? If you've ever watched like Interstellar, you know, they land on this one planet. For every tick, you can hear tick going. Every tick you hear in the background is a year going on in the regular world, because time is different near black holes and all that other business. So there's the postulation, the theory that we could be actually inside of a black hole. And the Big Bang was the moment that black hole became a singularity. Okay? Now, hold on with me if you can. Now, in our perspective, there have been 4 billion years, or 16 billion years, that have passed since that black hole was formed. However, in the universe that this black hole formed in, theoretical other universe, it may have only been 20 minutes ago that our universe formed. And that universe is 10 trillion years old. So how old would our, you know what I mean? This notion that God creature did any of this stuff, and did it just popped into existence, fully functioned. You guys are like, I just can't believe that after, 4.5 or 4 billion years of evolution, we could get to where we are. This watch didn't manufacture itself somehow, or whatever idiotic arguments you people have for why evolution and shit isn't real. And yet, magic popped me into existence. God creature can just, boom, he's here. God is here. He's here. He doesn't have to grow. He doesn't have to develop. He's here. He's instant. He's all powerful, all knowing, impotent, can't do a fucking thing, right? Make him have his priests stop raping children. Oh, no, can't do that. Those priests' free will to rape children is more important to the children's free will to not be raped. That sort of thing. Powerless God. Jesus said, do things in my name with amount of faith and you will have results. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And now, if you're already in my chat barking about, well, you got faith, well, maybe I do. My faith in science is built on reliability, years of reliability and trust and stuff like that. If I come home, my lights don't come on, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. I go flick a light, the switch, I had faith that switch wouldn't work, or would work, and it didn't work. Why didn't it work? The lights didn't come on. Something is wrong. But when you pray, and what you pray for doesn't happen, you don't stop and go, oh my God, God is broken. Something, this prayer thing is so reliable, so just regular, so dependable, that if it doesn't work, then there must be something wrong. Nope, not at all. Not even close. You go, oh, well, God didn't want me to have that, right? So prayer works. It really doesn't. That's more faith. It takes more faith to be an atheist. It really doesn't. I mean, faith to be an atheist. How do you struggle every day? Drew, do you struggle? Do you need a lot of faith? Does it require tons and tons of faith for you to be an atheist about Zeus? Do you sit around going, fuck Zeus? I mean, I really don't believe in Zeus. Today, I'm not going to believe. Is that what you do? Is it takes a lot of faith to not believe in Zeus? Really, Drew? You don't believe in Quetzalcoatl, do you? Do you even know who that is? It's a god. Do you sit around using all your faith to not believe in that God? No, you probably don't. So having faith to be an atheist is ridiculous. The thing is it actually takes faith to be a believer. And faith, this is what faith is. Faith, you think is a good thing. Faith is your ability to believe bullshit that's not true. That's what faith is. The more faith you have, the more likely you are to believe more bullshit that is not true. I'm not wrong. That's where we get into, you have faith too in your science. And I'm like, yes, and my science is reliable because of. Right? So there is I actually did a thing. I wrote a book in 2013 called Atheist. And in that book, I did this. I was like, you Christians, there's power in prayer. Life from non-life? Why not? Well, yes, actually. I don't know if you know this, Drew, but just this week, they created an artificial living cell. They did. That can take in information and divide and split and reproduce itself. Go shit on that for a while. Okay, because now that's just enough. And you can't believe that life from non-life is really just kind of like basic chemicals that are put together to become life, such as salt. Salt is not alive, but without salt, you couldn't live. So really, when you stop and think about it, that's kind of ridiculous that you would even say that, because it's kind of, it took, if you want to learn it, there was just single-celled life forms, very, very tiny life forms for 3.5 billion years. Only the last, 750 million to a billion years has there been things with spines. There's a lot to it. And yet, you believe life came from non-life, don't you? Don't you? What did Adam come from? Dirt. Yes, dirt. Adam came from dirt. You got any evidence for that? We've got scientific evidence from many different fields of study, from archaeology to all this other stuff. Biology, it never ends. That backs up our evolution. Yeah, really well. You got nothing. You got nothing that proves you're rib man story. Dirt man. It's dirt man, right? Your dirt man just popped into existence magically. In the desert, in the Middle East, 6,000 years ago? And then flooded the earth because he hated his own people that he created almost immediately, right? Because it's a God monster that fucking hates everything, right? That's what happened, right? And you've got proof of that, right? Don't you? No, you don't. You don't. You have no proof of that. None. There is no proof of a global worldwide flood. If you're going to go, well, the Black Sea had a break and it flooded out this whole area. Well, that's not a global flood, is it? It's just not. It's all bullshit. And really, as a theist or an atheist, I don't care. I don't know why you guys have to stick to the literal telling of the story. Why do you give a fuck so much? I was a Christian and I believed that the universe was X amount of billions years old. I think it was like 12 or some shit when I was younger, and then they learned their best science. Anyway, I believed it was that old, and then God just made it, and that's the way he wanted to do it. I was taught that God watched every leaf on every tree, that God knew every hair on my head, that God knew everything. And why would he want to, if we're his favorite creation, why would he want to crunch it all down into like 6,000 years when he could have 100, 200,000 years with his favorite creatures? Because time is nothing to this guy. Right. Well, I mean, 6,000 years would be a blink of an eye. You know what I mean? That's what I kind of thought. But no, Jack, and I knew the Bible. I never sit there and vexed myself too much over why this says it happened in one day and this says it happened in another. And you guys really don't think hard enough about it, I think. You're like, well, on the fourth day, God created the sun, but he created light on the first day. And atheists will be like, he created light on the first day and fourth day on the sun. And you're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But you never stop to think. The universe is 16 billion years old. Our galaxy, or our solar system, is only 4 billion years old. So technically, you're right. Fucking idiots, you're right. There was light before our sun. For probably like 12 billion years before our sun. I don't think I've ever heard a Christian ever once throw that out and say, you know what? This is why it says that. Never once have I heard one of you say that. But now you got it, so take it and do what you want to with it. Does this guy ever shut up? Edward? What is this? I mean, okay. Burrito. You're still there? Why are you still there? I'm not talking. It's a talk show. I'm not here. Why are you still there? You know, Edward, have you ever tried like thinking, you know, give it a trial run one of these days, you know? I'm sure there's like a 14-day free trial you can get somewhere. It's a talk show, dude. I'm the only guy here. I play commercials. Every now and then I stop and go get coffee. No, that's all I do is talk, yeah, so. Alberto Rodrigo, good morning. Rodriguez, apologies. Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful day. John Doe, God been failing and destroying evil throughout the whole story, man. No shit. Did you read the book? Wiped out the whole earth and still failed. Blood sacrificing himself to himself, and still evil is winning. John Doe, that is a fantastic point you make there. I've often said something not unlike, I mean, I'm gonna steal yours, obviously, clearly, because I'm an immoral individual. But I've kind of said something to the. You would think, Jesus, apparently Satan is all powerful, so totally powerful. He can be anywhere. You can be just wait a second. You're just sitting in your office one day and you start rubbing one out. Really? I mean, you're a Christian and you start rubbing one out. People all over do that same thing. Somewhere doing something sinful. However, you don't see people who are not Christians just spontaneously break out and do Christian stuff. You know, it's just not. But Satan is everywhere, and he can tempt your ear in Hindu, in any language you want. You can find people over in Russia that actually touch themselves. I know. I didn't think so for a long time. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Satan is everywhere. He's very powerful. And I had that one old man on my show. He called my show. I used to did a call in for a little while. He called in. I was like, why is Satan so powerful? And he's like, well, yeah, Satan is a powerful creature. God gave him dominion on the earth. And I'm like, well, why would God do that? That's fucking stupid. Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. You're going to rebel against me, try to overthrow me, and I'm going to give you dominion over my favorite creature. And any of my favorite creatures that you can keep from believing in me, whatever, I'm going to punish forever. That's just a stupid story all the way to begin with. The problem is it's always whitewashed. They never tell it to you like that. Priests don't out there telling you how ridiculous that is. That's the problem. They don't tell you how ridiculous the entire story of Christianity is. Let me see what I got. Oh, 108, 10 Gabriel. Moronic argument. Ooh. Yes, it is. It is a moronic argument. You should hang around. And here's Mikhail Gorb says, you're smarter than God, you win. I am smarter than imaginary creatures. Indeed. I am. And you know what? I tell you what, we can go down And I'll take an IQ test right there in the same room with your God creature. We'll even put a partition between us so I can't see his answers. And I bet you I get more right in less time than he does. Ooh, I got an even better one. Does Jesus talk to you? Do you talk to Jesus? Does Jesus hear you? Well, I'll tell you what, this is what we can do. Instead of just me going down and taking the IQ test, we'll go down together and Jesus can give you the answers and you can put them in crayon for him. Maybe you were just being sarcastic. I don't know who you are. Good morning, person. Let's see. Lawrence Booker, good morning, says this guy's a fuckwit. You don't even know what I'm here about. You have no idea. You just got here. You don't even... okay, fine. Yeah, Nukta. I know IQ test. This is a bad example, really. But, it's kind of like, what could you do? Your God is so powerless. It can't do anything. Anything you command it to do, it's not going to do because it doesn't jump through hoops for you. It's just completely powerless. As I was going to say earlier, I wrote a book in 2013 called Atheist. In that book, I postulated maybe what we should do this. You think your religion is right? Here's what we can do. You poo-poo science? Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll get 2 different hospitals. In our hospitals, both of them will put people who are terminally ill. And without some form of intervention, they will pass. And in the science hospital, we'll have one hospital be science hospital. And the other one, let's say you're a Protestant Episcopalian, okay? We'll have an Episcopalian hospital. And whichever one saves the most people wins. Right? And your God is powerful. It's going to win every time, isn't it? No matter what you call it. Episcopalians are going to win. The Catholics are going to win. You're going to come out. Why do we even need hospitals? Why do we even need them? Jesus said, gather together in my name, 3 or more people, and pray and ask through it for God or whatever, and you'll have it. Just have enough faith. Where are those nuns going around bed to bed to bed healing people? Why do we even have sick people at all? Because your God is not there. It has no power. None. And I'm not egotistical to think that I'm smarter than God. I don't really sit around thinking about that sort of thing. Do you sit around thinking you're smarter than Zeus? Is that your bag? I'm smarter than the imaginary creature Thor. Is that what you do? No, I don't really do that. There are people out there who think because I don't believe in the God creature that I somehow think I'm better than it or I'm smarter than it, or no, I just haven't been convinced by you that your God creature is real. That's all. However, one of us is narcissistic. One of us is arrogant. One of us believes that the entity that created everything believes in you and loves you and has a personal relationship with you and gives a fuck about you. One of us is a narcissist. Who is it? Is it you? Let's see. Drew, I feel the Holy Spirit. He attaches himself to your spirit. The day you feel his presence, you will know. I hope he wears a condom. I don't think you understand. You don't know your religion. First of all, if you know anything, I have blasphemed the Spirit of the Lord. There's nothing I can do. Right? Nothing. No. Your priests who are out there raping children, yeah, they can still get into heaven. But I blaspheme the Holy Spirit. That is the unforgivable sin. Got your priorities fucked up, don't you? And I've had people come in here and talk like this before. I've had people come in here and say things like that before. May Jesus block your spirit. One guy came in here and he said something about, he prayed in the name of Jesus Christ that sand was going to fill all our mouths, my mouth and the person, he's like, you just wait, it's going to happen right now. It never happened. Pray away. Go ahead. Do all your little prayers, whatever you want. Go ahead. It's not going to work. It doesn't happen. I did have one time every now I have just work with me here. Every now and then I have internet problems for where I live. My internet will just fucking go down and poop. And I'm sure there have been theists out there watching the show and going, the Lord has smited him when the internet went down. Do you think that's what happened? You think the Lord got tired of listening to my bullshit and shut my show off? And yet doesn't stop those priests from raping children? Interesting. I love it whenever they go, oh, the Lord smited him. Oh, yeah, I was smited. It's cute. Now, let's see. Michael pardon me. I'm sorry. Mikhail. Gorba says, we're not watching an epiphany. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Carl, I am very appreciative of you. Thank you, Carl, for showing up and giving Drew some support. Drew needs some support. He's crashing out in my chat. He's praying for me. It's like, it just can't. Okay. So do you Christians know what I'm talking about? Let's just talk about the very first thing. See, here's one of Drew. Thank you for this. Drew says plenty of Christians doing it wrong, right? Ooh, Stephanie says incest was high. Yeah, I hadn't even got it. Oh, you're so good, Stephanie. I love you. Drew says plenty of Christians mess up Christianity. That's right. Many or most of you think the other ones are doing it wrong. Wouldn't you agree? So if Jesus were to come back now, what percentage of actual Christians, who are actual Christians, and which ones would he take? There's this group of 2.4 billion people who call themselves Christians, but as you know, a lot of them aren't doing it right. So what narrow sliver of that group of people do you think are actually doing it correctly? Are you among those that are doing it correctly? How can you be sure you're doing it correctly? The way to heaven is a narrow gate. The path to hell is a wide gate. Not all who call out my name will be answered. Not all who reach out their hand. And you think your name will be answered? Your call will be answered? But I'm the narcissist. Congratulations. Stephanie Ryan says incest was high. Absolutely. Incest was high in the Bible even when they didn't need it. You're like, okay. I tell you what, they needed incest in the beginning because where did all the other people come from? Adam, Eve, 2 boys. So either Adam and Eve had to have daughters who the boys had sex with, or Eve had to have sex with the boys to, something had to go on there. Had to. Noah's Ark, same thing. First cousin at best after the land, because it was like this Noah, his sons, and their wives. So it's just going to be nothing but family on family. Hi there, cousin. Are you looking at me? No, I'm looking at her. Well, you're looking at both of us at the same time because your eyes do this. That's the kind of situation you would have. But they didn't need to do that. I mean, well, 1,000 apologies. And if those were real stories, they would have needed, obviously, to do that. But in the story of Abraham, Abraham, Genesis, like 9, 10, 11, I think it's 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that business somewhere. In Genesis, well, all right, let's just do this. I know it's in 11 and 12. Genesis, God finds his favorite human in Abraham, and then does all kinds of horrific things. Did Abraham, now Abraham's part of a tribe. We're not at a point where there's no one around. There's just them. No, there's the Amalekites and the these-ites and these-ites. I mean, there are thousands of other cultures around. They go on to murder a lot of them. So why did Abram, the father of the Abrahamic religion, why did he have to marry his own sister? Did you know that, Christians in the chat? You didn't know that Sarah was Abraham's sister? He was actually the daughter of his mother, but not of his father. So half-sister. His uncle, Abraham's uncle, married his own niece, the daughter of his dead brother. It says so right there in the Bible. Why would you write that shit down in the Bible? In a holy, why would you put that stuff in there at all? Why would that? I don't know, but it was pretty prevalent in their time. There was a lot of incest. The people who founded the religion that the Christians worship today were a bunch of incestuous, horrific motherfucker. Horrific. Yeah. And so there's that. Abraham. Of course, Abraham did lots of horrific things. Hundreds. I mean, not only was he married to his own sister wife, he gave her to another man who gave her back because she gave him a disease. And then he went on to rape his own wife's slave, have a baby with that slave, let his wife abuse that baby and that slave to the point where the slave ran off into the fucking desert with the baby. That's how bad it was. I mean, you're already a slave and you're used to that kind of life, but they abuse you. And then the angel says, go back and suffer. And so she goes back and suffers. And then Abram actually eventually has a legitimate child of his own through his real wife. And then he casts them out into the desert to die. Not his real wife, the one that he raped, and her baby, because he doesn't need them anymore. This is the father of the Abrahamic religion. You didn't know that? That's cute. For those of you who didn't know. So if you've been watching the show any amount of time, you probably knew that. And then they'd be like, he's a lion. Go look for your damn self. The Bible is the word of man. God would like such a city story. A lot of things going on in chat here. Ooh, let me get this off. Incest was high, says Ryan. He can't convince someone who believed to not believe. It's not our job to convince you. Don't believe. Your choice. Don't believe. This is English. It's just there's no real grammar here. I don't mean it that way. Sorry. Sometimes I process out loud. It's not our job to convince you. Don't believe. Your choice, foul mouth. Well, okay, fine. It's not your choice to. No, you don't have to convince me. Just don't be pissed that I don't believe. Don't come in here and be incredulous that I don't believe if you're not going to convince me. And you're going to come in and you're going to try to tell us to live our lives by the way you think we should live them because of your God is judging us. And yet you can't back that shit up. Really? You can't no backing that shit. And then you all disagree with each other on what the fuck is going on. Just like we just mentioned a minute ago. Who's the right Christian? One individual says many Christians don't do the right. You know what? You're right. All of you think that. All of you think that. Go ask the Catholics. If you're not a Catholic, you're fucked. According to the Catholics, right? You're going to burn where? Tell me where. In hell. Cute. You're very cute. You're all going to burn in hell if you're not Catholics. But wait a second. Even among the Catholics, there's certain sects that aren't doing it right. You know that, right? There's like the orthodoxies and these old people over here and this kind of Catholic. Remember, they just excommunicated an entire branch of the church just this past weekend. They're not doing it right. None of you are doing it right. You're all going to burn in hell. You are all human-scented flesh candles for the evil God monster of Abraham. He loves the smell of burning flesh and says so directly. Anyway, Jews have never been in Egypt. Jewish have never been. You know, that's true. Let's see. I'm going to go here. Why would they put it in the Bible if it made you look bad? Maybe they weren't very smart, Drew. Maybe incest among their people was so common they didn't actually think nothing of it. That's probably what it was, wouldn't you think? Huh? Why would they put that in there? They didn't think it was weird. You're worried about Christians when we are electing Islam into office all over the country. Why not speak against Islam? Well, we're not. We're not electing Islam all over the country. That's a lie. You're a liar. You're lying. There have been a few Muslim people who have been elected. Big fucking deal. Mandami, if he's going to do good things for the state of New York, that's wonderful. I thought in our country, in the United States, we weren't supposed to discriminate against people based on their religion. And yet Christians want to do exactly that, don't you? Here you are in my chat. You would not let Muslims hold office? Did you know, unless it's changed recently, at least when I wrote my book back in 2013, in 2013 at least, I don't know how many are still that way, it was illegal in 8 states for atheists to hold office. So yeah, you're kind of that way. You'd absolutely not. But look what Christians have done, right? You guys have done such a wonderful job. Every time conservatives take power in our government, every time they destroy the economy and they hurt people. Every time. Those are their goals. Every time. Go look. Go look. Every time. That's what you do. Conservatives destroy the economy. You know, back to the Great Depression, do you know, oddly enough, they were just before the Great Depression, there was this president came in, started doing all these things, all these tariffs, the conservatives took over, they lifted all the tax, they did a whole bunch, and they destroyed the fucking economy. That was conservatives. Yeah. When the economy dropped out in 2008, you remember that? The big fallout in 2000, that was the end of George Bush's reign, wasn't it? It was. Barack Obama came in and took over and bailed out our government over 8 years and made our economy great again, technically. Then we got who? And what happened to our economy? Donald Trump. And our economy went into the fucking dirt. It really did. You think it didn't? But it did. It did. You don't want to know it, but it did. And then we got Joe Biden, and our economy was doing pretty good. It was rolling right along. And you didn't hear about the president doing something stupid, obnoxious, offensive every day in the news. You didn't see our White House getting destroyed, physically, literally destroyed for a vanity project for this monster of a president. You didn't see them out there putting wrestling rinks in the fucking lawn of the White House. You didn't see Joe Biden getting billions of dollars in crypto coin. No. Bitches were out there complaining because Hunter Biden's laptop, blah, blah, blah. And yet, All of the corruption you've just completely ignored. Where are your cries? Anyway, I'm just going on that myself. Tea Party Prathy, democracy, democracy. You know, that's an interesting take you kind of have there, because I say that is that Christianity is not in any way democracy, and it's odd that Christians would be like, God loves our democratic United States, but God really doesn't. I mean, he wouldn't. God is an authoritarian dictatorship, isn't it? I mean, in the nicest possible way, however you want to see it. Even if you're a believer, you have to agree. It's God says everything. Jesus makes his commands come true, or they're the same person, however you want to work that out. There's no voting, though. There's no voting. You don't get to sit around and vote whether this happens or that. No, God says it and it is done. So that's not a democracy at all. Let's see, Matthew. Good morning, Matthew. Matthew Mulkeen, in appreciation of Star Trek, the original series background. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Goodness gracious. And it beeped twice. I may have missed something else. Thank you very much for the super chat. That is fantastic. We actually, I got the evil one, some Star Trek yard things. They're Enterprises. They're, for those who care, from the original series Enterprises. They're waterproof. They sit outside. You put them outside. They solar, and then they put them in a garden and they light up. It's really cool. I bought a couple of them. They still ain't here yet because, you know. Science is not absolute. That's true. But science has got a lot of places that it has holes, you know, it's got to fill those holes, and it learns as it goes. And that's why it corrects itself. If you ever hear somebody saying, well, science used to say this and now they say this, they can't keep their shit together. No, that's not what happens. We learn and we're wrong and we change that and we grow and learn. That's the whole purpose. That's not a big thing with Christians, though, or theists anyway. And as far as being absolute, you're right. Science is indeed not absolute, but religion is, I mean, any religion you've got is so, there's no absolute to it at all. You may think there is. You've got an absolute God creature right there, but your absolute God creature speaks to you in a language that is different from every one of you. You might think you have a central place, and in your mind you do, but you as a religion, billions of people have billions of different little ideas of what God thinks and wants. Is it on, do you get to heaven on deeds? Do you have to go do things, or is it just on how you feel, belief, just faith, or deeds? Well, half of you disagree, and the other think you're going to go to hell. But you know, you would think if there were some form of absolutism, objectivity, singular truth, you would think the message would be singular, wouldn't you? But it's not. The message we get from Christianity, with its 40,000 different denominations, and Hinduism is a Hinduism that's got millions of different gods, all the different gods, and none of them have any power. That's kind of in the different places, different regions, they do different things. It's just exactly what you'd expect if there were no gods, and just a bunch of intelligent creatures trying to figure out the universe as they went along and attributing things. See, as we go along, though, as we learn, we discover, oh, God doesn't do that. We used to think God made lightning, and now we're like, oh, yeah, well, it's just a buildup of particles in the atmosphere based on, and we can actually predict it and where it's going to happen and all this other business. And the smarter we get, the smaller your God gets. That's why just like in the story of the Tower of Babel, where he goes down and he says, oh, look at this. With them working this way and communicating, there is nothing they can't do. Let's go down and mess up their language. That's what he said. There's nothing they can't do. Let's go fuck them up. Well, we can't have that shit. This human race is just doing great. They will be just unstoppable. So we have to shut that down right now. Interesting. In case you were curious about where I said Abraham, he married his own sister wife. He gave her to the Pharaoh of Egypt in Genesis 12, claiming she was his sister, and didn't tell him, the Pharaoh, that she was his wife. Then the Pharaoh gave her back and said, why didn't you tell her she was your wife? Now me and my family have a disease.
Burrito es tan bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco bueno, bueno. It stings like a bee. They told me she was a sister. Now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse. There's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno. A full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno. A full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno. It burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs.
All right. Let's see. You pick and choose which delusional winners and losers you attack. So, like everything else, you're common and purely entertainment. Okay. Okay, cool. I give. You win. You pick and choose which delusional winners. Okay, I guess whatever. I wanna do something here. I want to show you guys something. If you've been watching the show for a while, there is a portion of humanity that are just bad for humanity. Every time they have control, every time they have power, they always hurt people. You can't really call them conservative Christians because they don't have to be conservatives or Christians by our standards. However, in every community or in every community or however you want to put it, group of large people, you will find that we always have those who are like more conservative. I want to use the word conservative because that's what we're used to. And those who are more liberal, those who want to follow tradition and the rules and God and all that. And those who, man, you do what you want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. You just go do yourself. You got two different groups. Every time the group on the right of that gets power, they hurt people. Every time. And I've been trying to think of a word for it. There's a word for these people. It's not MAGA because it doesn't apply at all, but I've found that word. I'm developing it. I found where the root of that word is going to come from. So if you're a right winger, if you're a MAGA, I hope you're paying attention because if with any luck, this is something your group of people, whether it was in the 1600s, whether it was in the 800s, whether it's in the 1920s, this type of mentality that you guys have about lying, about God, about all this oppressive bullshit you have, we're going to have a name for who you are, no matter what era you're in. And I want to thank this guy here I don't know his name, the guy, I see him every now and then. I don't really watch him. So peep this, my homies. Let me get this going for you. Un moment, s'il vous plaît. Hold on, Chris. Come on, man. You've done this before, right? You know how this works. Let's go here. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Bear with me. I'm old. It's complicated stuff. So here we go. Is it this one? Okay. So listen to this. And I want you to see what you think. I'm going to make this biggie on the screen. Highlight, add to scene one. I got to come over here. I got to push this button and put me in Studio A. Okay, watch what this guy says. Listen to what he says. And here we go. And here we go.
The writer Hunter Ash once argued that most people, even the smartest and the best educated, will use what they know not to understand the world, but to win an argument for their tribe. The number of people trying to genuinely understand reality is vanishingly small. The ancient Greeks had a word for this. They called it amathia, and they argued it would be the downfall of civilization. Amathia is usually translated as ignorant, but is not the same as ordinary ignorance. With ordinary ignorance, you can resolve it by giving somebody a book, a documentary, or an experience. But amathia is something darker. Amathia is the active refusal to know. It's the grade A student who thinks they're too good for their teacher's feedback. It's when somebody refuses to learn how to say your name properly. It's when an otherwise intelligent person refuses to learn anything that might challenge their already held beliefs. The Stoic Epictetus argued that amathia is one of the greatest causes of human evil. If somebody walks around with the smug self-conviction that they already know enough, they will stop trying to learn more. If somebody thinks they are perfect, they will stop trying to be better. If you view your beliefs as a position to defend and not as a hypothesis to challenge, you will use your knowledge and your intelligence as a weapon. Simple ignorance is not the problem. The problem is when somebody decides for whatever reason that they are already right and you are already wrong.
So you heard how it described those people. Let me see if I can stop sharing and then put me back in scene one. Sorry, guys. Let me do this. Oopsies. You see how I described them, and that's what they are. Yep. Evil. It comes down to evil. That's the description of evil. Yeah, that's what I think they are, from my perspective, indeed. Drew 30FL says, sounds like a narcissist, like this host. Yep, I don't believe in God. I'll tell you why I'm a narcissist, but you're the narcissist. You're the one that believes a God creature who created everything in the universe loves you, believes you. Oh my God, right? You, my friend, you're special. God loves you. Salty Namekin, good morning, says, so anyone using the Big Bang Theory for an atheist argument, forget that the fundamentals of atheists. Okay. Your God not existing has nothing to do with the Big Bang. You think it does. It really doesn't. I'm an atheist and I don't have to believe in the Big Bang. I don't have to give a shit about it. I don't have to do anything with it. Being an atheist just means I'm not convinced of your God. That's all it means. That's all it means. Now, science tells us certain things. Science has guided us through science all the way back to the Big Bang. I'll give you the credit. It was a Catholic, I believe, who was the first to propose it. That doesn't mean it's the Catholic God, though, does it? If you're going to go by the measure, because you're one of those Christians out there, it was a Christian that first mentioned Big Bang, and therefore it must be God. Well, it was a Catholic. So are you a Catholic? No, that wasn't enough for you to switch religions to become a Catholic just because it was a Catholic. So the Big Bang, we've got lots of evidence of some sort of Big Bang singularity, blah, 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 blah. You have no evidence whatsoever you're a God creature. None. Now, there's another conversation going on in the chat about Jesus and about him being real and us atheists not believing in science. And here, let me see if I can find it here. What evidence? Let's see. If you want evidence, why do atheists in general reject literally any evidence given in archaeological or written by eyewitnesses? I'll tell you. Here's why. There is no evidence. If you're talking about Jesus, there's no evidence of Jesus. None. No contemporary evidence of Jesus, with the exception of there may be, possibly, a letter, as somebody mentioned in the chat, by Pilate. I didn't even know about that letter until like a couple of weeks ago. I heard something about Bart Ehrman, and he had mentioned that there may be a letter by Pilate. Someone have to look into that. There may be a letter where Pilate mentions someone named Jesus. There may be. Other than that, if that is real, I don't know yet. Like I said, I'll admit that I haven't read. Other than that, there is zero contemporary evidence. None. No contemporary evidence. Eyewitnesses, there are no eyewitnesses. None. You want to talk about Paul, where Paul talked about seeing the 500 people who saw Jesus raise somebody from the dead? Paul never met Jesus. Never met Jesus. He made it all up. It's all a fucking lie. There's no way he could have known about that. No way. And who are the 500 people? Who are they? No names, no addresses, no numbers. No, they're just Paul making a magic number up about some sort of miracle. Just his word. Remember, Paul never met Jesus. So what evidence do you have? You have no evidence. Now, I will, though, because I'm not against Jesus being a real person. Fine, Jesus is a real person. Tomorrow we find a little hovel and it says, here's the home of Jesus and John, and Mary was the mom, and Jesus someday became a prophet, and they, whatever. That's great. Love it. Love it. That doesn't mean he was a god. That doesn't mean he was divine in any way. It just means he was a real person. And I don't care if he's a real person. Muhammad was a real person. That doesn't change how I feel about Islam. Many people, despite there not being any contemporary evidence, many people actually believe that Jesus is real anyway. So it doesn't matter, does it? I don't think it matters whether he was real or not. The analogy I like to use is when Stan Lee was a boy in high school, he used to know a kid named Peter Parker. And Peter Parker was a gymnast, and he could dance and do all kinds of flips and stuff. So Stan Lee based Spider-Man on that Peter Parker kid. So sure, yeah, there was a real Peter Parker. Could he shoot webs out his wrists? Could he fly through the air to building to building to building? Was he nearly unbreakable? No, he wasn't. He was just a superhero written about a kid. I have no problem with Jesus being real. Proving he was in any way divine, that's a whole other step, though. Let's see here. Salty Namekin, Big Bang Theory. I just don't know why you get off on the Big Bang Theory. Let's see what else is going on here. Yeah, so what evidence would you like? I mean, now there's a whole, why would the disciples die for a lie, right? Why would they do that? Well, those stories that tell that the disciples died for a lie weren't written for like 100 years after they died. They weren't even, you have no idea how the disciples really died. None. This is all fan fiction that was written we're talking about decades and decades after. The first writings of the New Testament were by Paul, 20, 25, 30 years after Jesus. Paul, who never met Jesus, 20 to 30 years after Jesus' first books of the Bible. Now, have they gone on about, let's see. I want to see if they've mentioned Julius Caesar yet or any of that business, because that's usually where they run. Tony Hype says they know Jesus was there. Who knows? It's like you weren't even listening. I mean, I would be willing to change my mind. I have no problem changing my mind. I'm glad to go look and say Jesus was real. No problem. I don't know why that's some sort of clutch for y'all. It was a Christian church before the New Testament was written. Yeah, probably so. They were groups of followers indeed. There were. I mean, obviously there would have had to have been, right? So you've got decades between when Jesus allegedly lived and when the first books were written, the first letters by Paul, right? And then like the Gospels, when were the Gospels run? 50, 60 years after Jesus died? These were written by people who were not there. Almost certainly the person who wrote it down was told the story by somebody who wasn't there. This is third rate at best hearsay on a lot of this. Because you really can't say that like Peter lived to be 90 years after Jesus died when his books were written. Or 2 Peter, whichever one. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of the things. So this notion that they would die for a lie, they wouldn't die for a lie, well, that's stupid because this is just fan fiction where they claimed they died. It's Christian persecution. You know, they're really big into self-persecution. Oh, we're the victims. Stop hurting us. Stop hurting us. Stop. What, you can't get up? Stop hurting us. Stop. You're gay. Stop hurting us. They're oppressing me because they're gay. Christians are all about being oppressed, aren't you? Anyway. See what's going on in the chat. I've been ranting. People should be worried if Jesus doesn't reveal himself to you. Why? Why, Christopher Baker? Is your God creature a horrific fucking monster that's going to torment everybody who doesn't believe correctly for all eternity, whether in a pit of fire or just through eternal damnation? Is that the kind of damnation creature you believe in? Is that why we should be worried? Really? Now, wait a second. Should we be worried? Should I be convinced? If I just become a Christian, but I don't believe, you haven't convinced me, so I'm just supposed to go, okay, I believe now. But wait a second. Doesn't Jesus know my heart? Isn't he going to know that I don't truly believe that I just did it because some jackass came to my chat and threatened me with hell? Or no, Jesus doesn't know my heart. Which is it? Why would you try to convince me to just believe? You can't just not believe. So I want you to try for just a minute, and truly believe with every fiber in your being that Joe Pesci is the God and he created it. Can you do that? If I came over tomorrow and I was going to pull your fingernails off, unless you admitted to me that Joe Pesci was a God creator who created how would you be able to believe then? How's that work for you? Is it that easy to just go, oh, I'm afraid, so now I'm just going to believe in this God creature? Maybe you'll rethink that. Evidence, perhaps, instead of threats. Your religion is based on faith, which is your ability to believe bullshit that isn't true. The more faith you have, the better Christian you are, right? And fear. Whenever you're too smart to fall for the fear or for the faith, you fall for the fear. Oh man, that's a bunch of bullshit. But I don't want to go to hell. What if they're right? I don't want to go to hell. That's what the hell thing is all about. For that exact purpose. To keep people in who are too smart to stay. Are you afraid of hell? Or are you just not smart enough to think your way out of it? Just curious how that works. Let's see, what do you guys want? Would you guys like a goat scented flesh candles? Would you like a foreskin restoration kits? Oh, the pup. I was going to tell you about the pup so you can see Bailey. I'm going to play the pup. Now, I want you to know, for you if you don't know, I made this, what you're fixing to see. I wrote it, I scripted it, I recorded it, I green screened it. It took me weeks, really. And then I scheduled it. It's going to come out Monday because I wanted to get the whole week before the weekend, right? I woke up that Monday and the Pope had died. That Monday. You would think it would have just boosted the shit out of this video. I got 200 views. It didn't help at all.
Finnegan!
Yes, sir. Very disturbing, I know.
Fetch me Father Finnegan.
Your Highness.
You are in the presence of His Holiness, the Puppius Maximus, guardian of the sacred fire hydrant, defender of the holy tennis ball, and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poopsalop the Fifth.
Your Popedom. I heard you have a bone to pick with me.
Condoms, Father Finnegan?
No, thank you. I've got plenty.
That's what I mean. Why are you selling condoms?
Oh, you mean our Pharaoh Sombrero line of condoms. Understood.
You know how we feel about those around here.
Well, they're not to be used by the Catholics, of course.
Not for Catholics?
No, they're part of our Sinner Gonna Sin lack of faith outreach program.
A sinner gonna what?
It's like getting the tithe, but from the heretics and the heathens and the atheists.
Oh, well, when you put it like that.
But, Your Highness, this will reflect very poorly on the church.
True. You know what this means, Flanagan?
Warning label. A warning label on the box. Not for Catholics in big letters.
Too subtle.
Instant purgatory if used by Catholics.
I like it. Divine branding.
Excellent, Your Popedom. Would there be anything else?
That will be all. You may leave.
All right, I got a few things going on here. I want to mention here, do this. Salty is embarrassing himself in the chat, demanding that we tell him what happened before what was before the universe, what was made, what energy, all this stuff. We do have a lot of science. I don't think any of us here are actually degreed in that form of science, so he's kind of asking in the wrong place. But because we can't give this individual the answer that satisfies them, they're caulking around like they're right, they've won, and all this other business. Just read the chat. I've got them all over here on this single thing. And it's just ignorant. It's ignorant. You're sitting here because we can't answer you. You have no answers. You don't even have, you're sitting here saying, well, here it is, it's over here. Let's see. A very specific question. Sorry, my chat moves. Science doesn't take away from you. You didn't answer the science if you think it's... All right, damn it. It moved. What kind of energy went into the well, the laws of physics show us quite a few things. Energy is key. What kind of energy went into the Big Bang? Was it light? Was it sound? What caused the forming or expansion of the universe? If our only physical evidence is the picture of the Big Bang, what is the evidence of a universe before the Big Bang? Okay, you all seem to know what the Big Bang is, yet you can't describe it to me. We can't describe it to you? I actually described it earlier in the show. There's a theory out that says the Big Bang was actually the formation of a black hole in another universe and a singularity. And we have, this is the thing, you're not going to believe it or understand it. There's this thing that's called, where there's no energy at all. There's just quantum bubbling stuff, right? Where energy just comes into the universe, just magically pops into the universe. And there's also the rate at which energy going into a black hole is, anyway, it's possible we could be in a black hole. I told you that earlier. You don't care. No, you just didn't. Well, how do I prove the universe before? I don't know how to prove the universe before that. I don't know. I can tell you the scientists are really leaning hard to where they say that the formation of our galaxy, science and lots of math equations, really does fit the formation of a black hole. Okay, that's just one theory. Now, after denying all of the science and evolution and the Big Bang, all the stuff, now you're going to say, well, the laws of physics show us quite a few things. Like you seem to have a grasp on anything related to the laws of physics. Really? This whole thing, we can't answer your question about the energy in the universe. We did answer your question. You just didn't listen. No answer we're going to give you is going to be good enough. No answer. None. But we do actually have evidence to a degree on certain things. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. Are you an anti-evolution person? So if you're an anti-evolution person, then you're going to deny the science of biology, archaeology, all these ologies. Deny all the billions of pieces of evidence and research, deny all of it. So what kind of science, what proof would work for you? What could possibly work for you? Now, somehow, though, you seem to think that your God did this. You can't prove it in any way. Can you prove it? You have no way of proving it. No evidence whatsoever. And you doubt all of this stuff. You can't believe, you cannot wrap your tiny, tiny little brain around the notion that the universe, effect before cause, could have kicked itself off. That's a new quantum theory. But you can't believe that. You can't even wrap your mind around that. And yet you believe a God creature popped into existence, fully formed, sat around, made angels, fought with those angels, then decided to create us and the universe, or however that happened. Really, you believe all that with no evidence. Zero evidence. How much evidence? How much evidence do you have? Zero evidence. And thankfully, one of you Christians put in the chat my evidence for how powerless your God is. Oh my goodness, thank you for this. Thank you. I couldn't do this alone. I couldn't do this without your support, Christians. Let me look. Drew, 30FL, 30 fluid ounces, I think. Cool. Says, Jesus, I pray you touch this man's heart. Please reveal yourself to him. Touch his mind and his heart. Fuck consent, right? Fuck my free will. Right? It doesn't matter if I want these things. You're going to have your God creature force it on me. I appreciate you. Thank you. Let me continue. Because I haven't even got to my point yet. Touch his mind and his heart. Most of the time you're touching our dicks. Anyway, sorry. Distracted. Remove the veil from in front of his eyes and allow him to feel your presence. I hope he uses Vaseline. And then the next thing the individual says, first of all, I want to mention that you'll notice that it won't happen. It's not going to happen. It's certainly not going to happen during this show. You would think. If Jesus were real and he answered these kind of prayers, you would think, oh my, I found Jesus. Jesus came to me and now I'm a Christian. No, but it won't happen. Because there's no power there. It's just a bunch of shit. It just doesn't happen, man. It doesn't happen. Anyway, then Drew, thankfully, gives me some of the best evidence. Oh, man, you're just so wonderful, man. You're so wonderful. You have provided me the proof that I mentioned earlier about how powerless your God is. Thank you. Drew says, Matthew 7:7-8, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you. So that brings us back to what I mentioned earlier. Why do you not have priests, nuns, whoever, going from hospital bed to hospital bed and praying, ask for it in Jesus' name and it will be given? Why aren't they doing that? Why do we have sick people at all? If there were power there, why don't we have nuns going from church to church, or hospital bed to hospital bed to hospital, to be on the news all over the place where they're miraculously healing people? There would be no hospitals, would there? Would there? Would there? And yet, there's no power there. None. If you were to leave someone to religious care instead of medical care, you would be found guilty of many crimes if that person were to die. Matter of fact, we have examples on my show of people who let their own children die because God wanted them to do a certain thing and they did it a certain way and didn't give their baby the medicine or whatever, and the baby died. And those people went to prison rightfully so. There's no power there. None. Thank you for pointing it out. That's what I mention all the time. Jesus himself. These are red letter words, my Christian friends. Red letter words right here. And Drew even put it in here. Red letter words. Thank you, Drew, for that. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will open to you. Well, how's that working out for you? Not working out for you at all? So you deny science fits your bill in some cases. I don't know. You're having a conversation with somebody else. So it's one of those things. I think it's very cute. Thank you for putting that evidence in there. Your God has no power. None. It tells you right there what to do. This is just one example in case you're not certain. There's another time, is it in Mark, where he says the faith of a mustard seed. If you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can do anything. You can move a mountain. You can tell this tree to get up and move, and it'll go move. If you have enough faith, you can do the same miracles and more that I have done, said Jesus. My belief is he was speaking unto his disciples, and that's the excuse Christians will tell you. There's no power there. None. No power. Hello, Dirty Up and Holy Water. Good morning. For those of you who don't know, if you go into almost any place where they have holy water, like Catholic churches where they dip their fingers in the holy water, it's almost always contaminated with E. coli and poo-poo bacteria because people go to the bathroom and don't wash their hands, and then they dip their hands in there. So holy water is, in fact, quite filthy. It really is. I mean, that type of... Oh, that's why we have Father Flanagan's line. Oh, I got to play this for you guys. You're going to love this. Check this out. Next up in the bark bank, a clergyman with a holy hustle and maybe a few unholy loopholes.
Hi, Barks. Blessings and belly rubs to you all. I'm Father Flanagan, and today I'm here seeking $50,000 for 3% of my soul-saving startup, Holy Halos, the world's first, soon-to-be, church-approved condoms. Following the ways of the Lord can be hard and often require sacrifices of the flesh. Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of Holy Halo condoms.
Hold on, Father. The church very much doesn't like condoms. How do you expect to sell these?
Well, you're right, but these aren't just any condoms. No, my furry financiers, these are permeable. But every single halo has been dipped in holy water, a divine divider between you and sin. You can finally frolic freely and still keep that sweet spot in heaven. Permeable, but dipped in holy water to keep the sin out, but let the babies in.
Let you get your stick wet without getting your stick stuck.
If you know what I mean.
Oh my! Very embarrassing every time.
So basically they don't work as condoms, but they let you get away with having sex without going to hell?
Exactly. The church gets to keep making babies, but you don't have to keep going to confession. Think of it. No more guilt, no more awkward "I'm saving myself for marriage" speeches. With Holy Halos, you can take those pray hands and turn them into lay hands.
Didn't I read that holy water is full of bacteria like E. coli? Won't this be harmful to women's health?
The words are English, but I don't understand the question.
How are you addressing the issue holy water presents for women's health?
Again, I'm not understanding.
She does that. Well, we don't get it either.
Is that mesh from a window screen?
Ah, that's a keen eye you have there, young lass. Yes, yes. Another fine selling point. Rough on the outside to increase her shame, as it should be. But soft and smooth on the inside, internally lubed and ribbed for his pleasure. We even have custom scents.
Scents? Now you have my attention. What flavors we talking? Don't pitch me that vanilla missionary nonsense, Padre.
Well, we do have virgin vanilla, but we also have miracle mint and a cooing camel, and my personal favorite, sweat of the Savior.
And the Vatican, they've blessed this endeavor?
Well, not exactly. I'm still waiting on the papal decree one way or the other.
I love it, but you're asking 50 grand for only 3%. That's rough, Father, real rough.
Not running with the big dogs on this one. I'm gonna stay on the porch.
Me too. Good luck, Father. 15%.
Ouch, 15%, that's highway robbery even for the church.
Come on, Father. We're dogs. We know a bone when we see one. 10%, and we'll even bless your branding.
Look, meet me in the middle, 7%, and I'll baptize all your puppies.
7% worse for me. Father Flanagan, it looks like
Wait a second. Our producers say we have a special call-in bidder. Let's get him up on the screen. Folks, we have the guardian of the sacred fire hydrant himself.
Oh no.
Defender of the holy tennis ball and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poops a Lot the Fifth.
Flanagan!
Yes, your portrait.
50,000 at 20%.
20%?
And you get to keep calling yourself a father.
Sold to the pup in the very fine hat.
I knew you'd see it my way.
You're very wise, your hiney. Would there be anything else?
He may leave.
Father Flanagan's line of holy halos, ultra thin, spiritually thick. Available in 3 sizes: conservative, medium, and liberal. All right, 1 second. Okay, so Salty Namekins says the 7-year tribulation does not list 3 billion people getting killed. Probably doesn't. Are you being intentionally dishonest? Are you just unaware of what you're saying? I'm just curious. You say it mentions only the numbers 666 and I think 12,000. That's the only numbers it mentions, and that may be the only numbers it mentions. That may be. But does it say something like we go on to destroy all the wicked on the planet or anything like that? Let's see. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've been through it. Let's see here. I'm the 9:15 where 4 angels kill a third of humanity in one event. So let's go. The Revelation 9:15, the clearest revelation, where 4 angels kill a third of humanity in one event. All right, my friend, you're like, oh, 12,000 from each tribe. No, a third of humanity is billions of fucking people. Billions of fucking people. Right here, your own God creature coming back and murdering billions of people. And what for? Why for? Why would God do that? Why? Well, because they don't believe right. They don't worship correctly. That's their only sin. Or that's all that it has to be, is they don't believe right. A good hunk of the ones that even the ones that do believe right don't believe enough or don't believe correctly right. They might be Christians, but they're not the right kind of Christians. You might be the right kind of Christian, but you might not be hot. Or remember, somewhere in there, Jesus says, I spit them out of my mouth because they were too cold. You have to be hot for Jesus. So even in your own sect, you have to be hot for Jesus or he's going to spit you out of his mouth. Billions of people in Revelation. So were you intentionally being dishonest? Salty, I'm talking to you. Okay, I'm just kind of curious. Well, the chat is so behind. I can't blame you for answering me in a reasonable time. And by the time I see half your shit, it's gone anyway. So anyway, that's the whole thing. Billions of people. That's just one example right there. Oh, this here says just before Revelation attributes that same number of mankind to 3 plagues of fire, smoke, and sulfur. And earlier Revelation 8:11 kills many from the poisoned waters of wormwood. It doesn't say how many. And you have kind of lied or obfuscated by saying, oh, Revelation only mentions 666 or 12,000. But you didn't mention the billions of people that your God creature slaughters. Now, I want to go back here to Matthew. Now, in Matthew, Jesus tells you how this is going to go down. He talks about this in Matthew. You know that, right? He talks about his return in Matthew. Let's go to Matthew. Matthew 13, 41 and 42, Jesus says, the Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. Now, listen, you don't have to be a person who steals or rapes or murders in order to do either one of those things. The only thing required to be a sin is to not believe correctly, to not worship correctly, to not tithe enough, to not whatever, right? That's all that is required. And all who do evil, who does evil? So we're talking about all the Muslims, all the Hindu, all the atheists, everybody but those who are not Christians. That's what Jesus is talking about right here, right? Now, when we talked about this on the show the other day, we looked it up. There's about 2.4 billion Christians on the planet, but 8 billion people. That means if Jesus were to return now, and the only criteria were that you were a Christian to be saved, Jesus and his angels would spend the next 7 years killing off 6 billion people. According to Matthew 13, 41 and 42. Now, it's even more than that, because even Jesus, remember, you got to be a certain temperature. You can't be cold for Jesus, but the right kind of Catholic. If he loves Catholics, but you're not hot enough for Jesus, he's going to spit you out of his mouth. So even Christians, even most of you are not going to be saved. Billions of people Jesus is going to murder, and his angels. And it actually says, here, listen, bear with me. He's not going to do it in like a cool fashion. Matthew 13, 41, he's going to do it like fucking Hitler Jesus. You should get Jesus on the cross with a little... Matthew 13, 41 and 42, the Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin, and all who do evil. They will throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. You've heard the weeping and gnashing of teeth thing before, right? You didn't know, or did you know, that it was when Jesus was talking about when he was going to return and murder billions of people with a B. Right? That's how many sinful and wicked people there are. Then, I mean, if you're a doubter, if you're thinking I'm taking it out of context, you're welcome to go read it. I encourage you to go read it. It says it again in Matthew. Again, it says it twice. It says it. The second time in Matthew 13, 47 and 50, it says, it goes on about itself, but eventually it gets down to, this is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the blazing furnace where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Now, so that means, again, anybody who's not the right kind of Christian, and we're talking children, babies, kids, everybody. If you're not the right kind of Christian, you're dead, baby. It doesn't matter. Again, this is Jesus talking about how him and his angels are coming back to do a wholesale slaughter. Why would all of a sudden the God creature start not killing babies? Look at all the times in the Old Testament God creature specifically calls for the murder of children. Over and over and over again. Either it's calling for the murder of children, or it actually goes and murders children. God doesn't kill children. Well, you can't really count the flood, Chris, because that's just, well, no, all right, let's not count the flood. There are lots God kills lots of children. God personally kills children. He sends his angels to kill children. He hardened the Pharaoh's heart so he could show Egypt his true self. His true self was the 10 plagues. The last of the 10 plagues was God creature murdering the first to breach the womb of every person, the firstborn of every household. God murdering babies. Moses and God, on God's command, Moses commanding his men to murder the little ones among the males. All the adult males, all the women who had known a man, and all the little ones among the girls who had not known a man. And so murder all the rest of them. Do you remember that cute little thing? Is it Psalm 126 whenever they sing the song about, it's a song, I think, if I remember correctly. Pardon me if I'm mistaken. It's a song where they sing about taking the children of their enemies by the ankles and dashing them against the rocks. Be happy when you can exact revenge. It is revenge. They were harmed in this case, my understanding. They were harmed. Their enemy had done that to them. Wait. Their enemy had taken their children and dashed them against the rocks, and their God creature didn't protect them. But yeah, I guess that happened. And now we're at the point where rather than talking peace, love, mercy, forgiveness, no. In our holy books, we're going to write down a song about how when you get the opportunity, go fuck them up and fuck them up hard. Anyway, you should go look that up. I mean, don't listen to me. I'm just some jackass on it. I am the serpent, remember? So, again, there is Jesus right there telling you he's going to murder billions of people. Now, it doesn't say, this is your little thing there. This is what you're going to escape on. I think you're going to try to, well, it doesn't say billions of people in there. No, there's no numbers in there at all. It doesn't give us a number about, but no, that's not right. Because, I mean, that's the way you handled Revelation. Revelation over the period of 7 years, they slaughter billions of people in horrific ways. Why? Is your God mercy? Is it love? Is it forgiveness, kindness? Or is it a horrific God monster that loves pain and suffering and blood and death and crying? Look what it fosters. Look in the Bible whenever it tells you, like it did in Egypt, like it tells you whenever it was talking to its people. It's like, you go and you get Pharaoh to soften his heart or get him to let your people go. But I will harden his heart so I can show you my true self. So you will know that I am the Lord. And his true self was the 10 fucking plagues. That's what his true self was. Go look for yourself. That's the God you worship. You think Jesus fuzzy. But remember, it's just a new covenant. A new covenant is a new agreement. It's like how you interact with the God creature, how you the agreements you have between each other. It doesn't change the nature of the God creature. It just, the agreement you have between them. And I want to put it like this, and this might be kind of flippant, but essentially the new covenant, before the other old covenant was like, you do what I want to, or I'm going to fuck you up right now. And the new covenant is, you better do what I want you to, but I'm not going to interfere with your life. I'm going to give you the chance to do what you want to, and then I'm going to fuck you up if you don't do what I want you to do. I'm going to turn you over to this evil God creature that you've read about this whole time. It's a protection racket. You're in here. Jesus saves. Who's Jesus save me from? It's like, Vincent the fish saves. Who's he saving me from? Well, he's saving you from Tommy the dog. Tommy the dog is going to send Vincent the fish to get your ass. Unless you pay Vincent the fish some money, Tommy the dog is going to get you. So Jimmy the fish is your savior. You better go suck his dick because he's the one who's saving you from that Johnny the dog guy. Right? Is that not a protection racket? Is it not a protection racket? And you're like, Jesus loves you and he's mercy and all this, but really the whole message from Jesus is come to God through me, right? Come, believe in me and come to God through me. Right, my Christian friends? Are you out there going, oh, praise Jesus, you got your hands in the air yet? Finish the sentence, though. Finish the sentence. What's the rest of the sentence? Come through God, believe in me, or burn in hell for eternity. Remember? Every line Jesus says where he's like, do this. Love thy neighbor, or burn in hell for eternity. Do this, everything. His Sermon on the Mount. Why isn't though you Christians don't want his Sermon on the Mount on our schools? You always want the 10 Commandments. Anyway, his Sermon on the Mount. The whole message Jesus brings is that essentially the balls to bones is you got to be nice to people or you don't have to be nice to people. It does not matter. It does not matter. Love thy neighbor? Cool. It's cool if you do. Doesn't matter, though. Doesn't matter. If you believe in Jesus Christ and you accept him in your heart and you go to him to get to the Father, it doesn't matter, right? And Christians are out there. Right? Billions of people Jesus is bragging about coming back and killing. They deserved it, right? I've had Christians in the chat say that, first of all, some of them were like, well, they're demons and they're wicked. Well, I remember being a kid, man. I remember reading Revelations and talking about how this war was going to come down to earth and all the wicked. And as a kid, I wanted to be a part of that fighting on the heavenly side. And in my mind, friends, in my mind, I was fighting demons. Really, that's what it was. It was, I mean, if you'd have told me when I was a little 11 or 12-year-old boy that as I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, I want to fight for God in his holy war, if you'd have told me that part of that would be, this would be the scenario. All right, man, you're fighting for God's war. You've come back in the name of God. He's making himself known. The revelation has happened, and you're coming back and you're fighting for God because you're one of those. You go to this house, you're going to find the wicked demons, the sinful, evil ones. You kick in the door. There's a man. He's sitting there. He's got a man and a woman, and the man's got a machine gun. He's like, blah, 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 at you, but the bullets bounce off of you because God is with you. So there's no fucking challenge at all. You should be ashamed of yourself at all. That the God creature who says he's going to come back and that no weapons will harm them, that's just a fucking shame that you would do that anyway. But no bullets off of you. And now it's your job to take your heavenly sword and slaughter that man. Stab, 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 stab. Then, of course, ignore the screams of his wife. They're wicked and sinful. They deserve this. They didn't worship Jesus. They did not accept Jesus Christ in their hearts. So they deserve this. So now take your sword to the waist. She's pregnant. Well, it doesn't matter that she's pregnant. We have examples where Moses himself was angry that they didn't murder the pregnant women, so you should murder her. We have precedent. Murder that pregnant woman. And then when you're done doing that, go in the bedroom, and you'll find a couple of little kids. One's probably like 11 or 12. Ignore the screams as you raise your heavenly sword up. You don't know what you're talking about, do you? You have no idea about what this is talking about when God is going to come kill the wicked. You don't know who the wicked are. You think the wicked are bad people. They're not bad people. They're not. They just don't do the thing your imaginary friend thinks they should do, according to its own text. And he's going to murder them all for it. And you get to be a part of that. You get to be part of that heavenly thing. Glorious you must feel. You must be very proud. I wonder when you get home, will you be like, man, that was such a work day. Oh, my goodness. And then you have your little slave wife come out, because they really hate women in their Abrahamic religions. And as she's sitting there, you could set your beer on her head maybe. And you could talk about how, your ankle is sore from kicking in doors all day. You had to kick in this door, you had to kick in that door, sore fucking ankle. And then you went to this one house. And why the hell? These damn people, probably like Muslims or atheists or somebody out there breeding like rats. They had like fucking 8 or 10 kids. I gotta say, I pulled my fucking shoulder as raising my sword to whenever I don't know which one it was. Was it the 7-year-old? Or was it the 4-year-old? I don't remember, but it was one of them. I know the dad was over there shooting at me, but fuck him, right? I got to him later. But then I pulled my shoulder and my ankle hurts. Is that how you spend your evenings? I'm just being a jackass, right? I'm taking your story literally. You want God to come back, right? You're waiting for God to come back, Jesus to come back in Revelation, but you may not know what that means. How many people get killed? Good people, nice people, wonderful people. The only sin being that they don't believe in Jesus Christ. But your Jesus is love. Your Jesus is mercy. With a Doobie Man says, Doobie Dan, all right, I'll tell you what. I got this. Cool. Wait a second. Listen, I'm just going to do this. Doobie Man says, with your belief system, why is murder and rape wrong? Well, with my belief system, I was raised in a society where those things were generally wrong. My actually, because of the modernness of my raising, my upbringing, rape is even more wrong now than it was 50 years ago or 100. Women are less oppressed and have more rights now than they used to. Isn't it weird how morality seems to be subjective over time? Isn't that weird? Morality is subjective. It changes. I'll tell you what, what's your name, Doobie? If I go murder someone, let's start with this, first of all. In my belief system, is that how you put it? According to my beliefs. In my belief system, I only live to be 70 to 120 years tops, based on science or whatever, however long science can keep me alive, or however bad I treat myself. And that's it. That is it. I got nothing else. Nothing else. Now, let me ask you something. I have a wife and family that I enjoy spending time with. I have dogs. I've got I'm an actor. I do acting. I do theater. I've got lots of things that I do that are not God related. It has nothing to do. Do you have those things in your life? Doobie, that you do, that you enjoy, that don't have God within them? You do have some of those things. Some of them you have, it doesn't have, you like a football team or something. Don't you have anything in your life that doesn't have God in it? Well, I got things in my life that give me purpose and stuff in my life. And if I went and I murdered someone, I would get arrested, I would go to jail, and I would lose my freedom, and I would not get to enjoy these things. There are ramifications. It's wrong for many reasons. There are repercussions is one of them. It's wrong, in my opinion, because I'm a person who doesn't like to hurt people. I'm a secular humanist, where we don't like to hurt people. We think everybody should be treated equally. You say that until it's time for trans people or gay people to get equal rights, and then you're all, right? But by my belief system, a woman should have a rights to her body. And that's why rape is wrong. Or anybody, really. Anybody should have rights to consent. Remember earlier one of you Christians was praying for me, and I was like, hey, wait, I got no consent in this? I try to give people consent, especially whenever it comes to things like, that sort of thing. That's why my society that I grew up in gave me those morals. How well I apply them varies from person to person, right? How well they were paying attention when those lessons in life were taught. My dad taught me a lot of things about respect for women and all that business. I'm one of those guys now that opens doors for my wife. I mean, we've been married 11 years and I still open the doors for her. Just kind of, a set of thinking about how people should be treated. And by that, murder and rape are wrong. Now, Doobie, by your belief system, why are murder and rape wrong? Can you give me examples why? According to your holy book, murder was very right. It was done over and over again for numerous reasons. I mean, I don't know whether you want to talk about Cain. Cain's a great example. Cain murdered Abel. Got a baby failing. Cain murdered Abel, right? Was Cain punished? No. Cain got all the blessings of the God of the Old Testament. Got a mark on his head so he could live a long life. That was a blessing of the Old Testament. He had a son. That was a blessing of the Old Testament. He went on to have found a city and have nations. That was blessings from of God in the Old Testament. God told Moses, and Moses told his people to keep the little ones among the women for themselves, for sex slaves. So why is rape wrong in your worldview, Christian? Have you never told the story about Moses and how he split the water? Have you never sit around there and go, well, they found a wagon wheel at the bottom of the ocean, so the story of Moses, have you never done those things? If you do those things, you've been worshiping a guy who ordered the murder and rape of children. That's you. So what, by your belief system, keeps you from killing people? Let me ask you, Doobie, I, as I mentioned, live in a society where I believe I have a limited amount of time, and if I fuck up that time, there will be ramifications. What in my belief system says it's wrong for me to cheat on my wife? Well, if I cheat on my wife and I get caught cheating on my wife, it'll destroy my wife and myself and my family, and it'll all, I don't want that to happen. That, by my belief system, is, you feel those things too. Surely you feel all of those things I've mentioned too. Can you not feel those things? You feel them too. Now, But I've given you reasons why, according to your belief system, murder and rape should be absolutely okay. Right? I mean, I can give you more examples. Sure, they say do not murder in the Bible, and God commands them to go instantly murder lots of people. In fact, wipe out an entire group of people. Man, woman, and child. And of course, obviously, Christians have been following those examples for 2,000 years. How many millions of people have been murdered at the end of a Christian sword? Christians, Muslims, everybody else. So by your worldview, why is murder and rape wrong? Mary was raped. Mary was a 12-year-old girl, maybe 13 at best. According to our standards today, Mary was a child, and God would have been a pedophile arrested and thrown in jail. Can you repeat that in the chat for me? Mary was a child and God was a pedophile. Can you put that in the chat for me? Please put that for me. Go ahead. I'll wait. What? I'm waiting. No? I think I need to wrap up. I'm going on about myself. Let's see. Same tired atheist shit. Is that what you're saying? I don't think so. I think I got a new take on stuff. Yeah. So again, I mean, sin, what is sin to you, dude? What is sin to you? Listen, I tell you what, Doobie, you're talking about, oh, yeah, so if you go do something wrong, you've sinned and now you're done wrong. Oh, no, you've done bad. That's why it's wrong. Because murder and rape are sins. Correct? Neither murder nor rape are unforgivable sins. Neither one of them are. So that essentially says that you can go murder and you can go rape. Now, here's the key, my friend, and this is why I fully believe that as a secular humanist, I'm way more moral than you. Because if I go do either one of those things, I feel, and this is kind of, tell me if you, other people out there, that those people should be, you should, give them reparations. You should undo, at best, the harm you've done. You should go give the money back or help the person who you raped. Well, I don't know what you would do in that situation, but you should go do those things. But not a Christian, my friend. No, not a Christian. No. You don't have to do anything for those people. The only thing you have to do, get ready to put your hands in the air, my friends. Get ready, Christian friends, are you ready? The only thing you have to do is ask for forgiveness through Jesus Christ and accept Jesus Christ in your heart and ask him for forgiveness in his name, and it will be done. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? So who's more moral? You who can go hurt people and then go to your home and apologize to your imaginary friend, and now you feel better. You're more moral than I am, somehow. And then let's take this one step further just before I go away. You claim to be more moral. I don't have a God right here. I do not have a God right here behind me watching everything I do. I do not. You do. You believe God watches everything you do. You and God. I don't have a God. So when I don't rape, when I don't murder, it's not because I'm afraid that this evil God is going to hurt me later for doing so. That's not why I'm not afraid of that God. That's why I don't do it, right? Because there's not a God behind me. But there is one behind you. And you come in here asking me, how in my world is murder and rape wrong? Well, let me ask you, Christian friend, are you dangerous? Are you a dangerous individual? Is the belief that the God creature behind you, watching you all the time, the only thing that keeps you from murdering and raping people? Who's more moral, me or you? I don't murder and rape people because I feel like my worldview tells me not to, because blah, 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 blah. Yours, what does yours tell you? Yours tells you can go do it and get away with it as long as you apologize to Jesus Christ. I mean, the real deal, the real balls to bones, the only thing that matters in the end is whether you get into heaven. And the only way into heaven is how? Through Jesus Christ. If you've offended Jesus Christ through sin, you should do what? Ask for forgiveness. From whom? From Jesus Christ. No, nothing to the other person, just Jesus Christ. Who's more moral? You're more moral than me. And so are you, again, I got to ask the question one more time. Go live in North Korea, Mr. Atheist. That's funny. Hey, Isaac, you know what? North Korea is a lot like God. You should go watch Christopher Hitchens on God in North Korea. Heaven is like North Korea. There's God, Kim Jong-un. He has a general or two, and then everybody underneath that does what they say. Is heaven any different? Do you get a vote in heaven? Huh? Do you get to say? Do you have an opinion in heaven? Does God listen to what you do? Is he going to change? No. Heaven is not a democracy. Heaven is like North Korea. Go live in North Korea. And pointing out that North Korea sucks just because living under Christian rule sucks doesn't make Christian rule any better. You know, if you're a woman dying in a parking lot because you can't get an abortion because Christians took over the government and your doctor is afraid that if he gives you that life-saving abortion, he'll lose his career. Anyway, so I'm just kind of curious. I'm going to go do my thing. This whole thing, Doobie, about how, are you a dangerous person? If I lift your God creature off of your back right now, if I, through reason, showing you the ridiculousness of the religion itself, if I somehow remove the God creature from your mind, are you dangerous? To listen to you ask me if I, without a God, would go rape and murder, would you go rape and murder if you didn't have if I convince you now, is the cashier at your local convenience store safe? Is she safe? Is your neighbor's little girl playing out in the yard, is she safe? If I were to convince you that God is not real and that's the only thing that's keeping you from doing ugly things, who's more moral, me or you? I want to thank everybody for our super chat today. I've gone on about myself. I got a dog to bathe and shave. She needs a shaving too. She just does need a shaving. Like her papa. Her papa needs a shaving. Guitar Dog for $10 says, oh, wait a second. Let me start at the top. Matthew Mulkeen for $2 says, in appreciation of the Star Trek TOS background. Yes, thank you very much. Let me say TOS. Silverfet for $5. Christians and demons have the same faith. In fact, demons obey God better than Christians do. They at least perform their duty, at least what my understanding of what that duty is. They perform it. If angels are supposed to protect us from them, they're not doing a very good job because they're always talking about how shitty the place is. Anyway, maybe Christians are demons. It would seem that way. They worship a pit demon from hell, as described. So thank you for that. $5, Matthew Mulqueen says, I grew up watching Star Trek in the 80s. Suggest you look up how James Doohan, Canadian himself, came up with the character of Scotty and his World War II Normandy injury. Well, is it with this one? I think it's this one. Yeah, I'm aware. He was shot by his own guy with a machine gun and lost a finger. Yeah. I grew up watching. Yes, that's right. And he actually, I think they flew his stuff into space and all. I really appreciate them. They're our old heroes from our youth. And then a Guitar Dog for $10 says, belief in a cruel God makes a cruel man. Thomas Paine. Hope your puppy is doing okay. Bailey's doing great. She's doing much better. She was on the show earlier. So she is doing better. Thank you all for the support. I very much appreciate you guys. I'm going to wrap this up. Let's see here. Now, this guy says, Devin Stan. Hey, is it David Devadson? Says, I know I said I was going to go. I got a couple here that just said, I just got to play with them. Says, this guy knows nothing about Christianity. He's just angry. I'll tell you what. Dev, you should go back and rewatch the video. Today's probably not a good day. I didn't really refer to a lot of specific things that you could, but today, go do it. Go watch Friday's show or Thursday's show. Go watch any of my shows. And then get you a pen and piece of paper and you write down what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in Matthew 13:27. Is Jesus talking about coming back and killing billions of people? So Matthew 13:27, Jesus says he's going to come back and kill all those who are wicked and do evil, all who are sinful. The only one who are going to be saved are the righteous, not the wicked. In today's current standards, that would be billions of people, would it not? With a B. If you're not a Christian, that automatically puts you into the fire. Why fire, Chris? Because when he says he's going to murder billions of people, Jesus says he's going to murder billions of people by putting them in a furnace with the weeping and gnashing of teeth, remember? So go, check, run, check, see what I know about Christianity. I dare you. I am the serpent, right? God is the one that lies to you. My friends, I am off to save the world. I hope you have a wonderful weekend if you're in the Albuquerque area. Again, I will be doing Shakespeare at the New Mexico Veterans Memorial Park here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Feel free to come out. I will be doing Julius Caesar this evening, as long as the weather holds, and I'm sure it holds. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful night. So come out and do the thing at the place with the stuff for the people. Otherwise, sin safely, my friends. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booths, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. heroes may have their day, but gold's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen sink, light the gold candle